Oh, howdy everybody. Sorry, I was gonna start the stream at 8 o'clock, but then Cashmere started playing on my phone, and so I had to sit and enjoy Cashmere because it's one of the best fucking songs Zeppelin has ever made.
Sorry,
no, no, hang on.
Then
Boy, son of a bitch, forgot to mute. Forgot to fucking mute. Goddamn. I always usually mute the stream just in case, so that way I can see if the stream is failing. Also, I just do that in case my fucking Google chat or the live chat fucking falls apart and just stops responding. I can just end the process and then go right back to my page right then and there, instantaneously see the chat. But yeah, I stupidly forgot to fucking mute it. And the reason why is I'm hopped up on painkillers because my fucking jaw hurts really badly. Like it's a dull pain right now. Like I don't know how to, like I never understood dull pain. I always felt like that was an oxymoronic saying because pain is supposed to be sharp and antagonizing your body, and like dull pain just for me is conflicting. It's the same thing as saying same difference. Like same means that two things have similarities, and difference means that two things have, like, they have no similarities. There's a difference between the two. So to say same difference is oxymoronic in my eyes, and maybe other people's eyes. I don't know. Also to explain what happened, I got punched Sunday morning. I think it was Sunday morning. I got punched in the face, and that's because my chaperone that brought me to the bar Saturday, I gave him the slip. My friend Barry was babysitting me because of the whole alcohol poisoning from Wednesday into Thursday morning. And so I gave him the slip. He freaked out, didn't know where the fuck I was. I went home, got drunk even further, and I passed out. And then that morning he fucking came over and popped me in the face. And so I don't know. I just, like, it's weird. I don't know why it just, like, the pain has cropped up. I got popped in the face Sunday, and I was, oh, okay, I got popped in the face. Awesome. Thank you for that. And, like, it was general soreness in the fucking right side of my face where he popped me in the face. But, like, now, like, I don't know how, like, today's what, Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Like, it's fucking Wednesday, and all of a sudden, just like, I woke up this morning with the most excruciating pain. Like, excruciating. And before you're like, oh, well, it's probably like a broken tooth, or, oh, your teeth might be loose from getting punched in the face. No, I checked my teeth. Like, I checked my back mold, like, because it was right at the base of the hinge. He punched me in the hinge of the jaw. Like, right at the top, just below, like, your earlobe on your right side. Like, he popped me. That's where he hit me. And so that's where all the pain earlier was so unbearable. It felt like I had an earache, a sore throat, and a migraine all in one package. So I couldn't hear, if I heard anything coming into my right ear, it just was excruciating pain, and my jaw hurt just by breathing. My right tonsil is still kind of sore, but it was like really throbbing and painful earlier. Fucking, it just felt like someone just kept punching me or slamming a ball peen hammer into my temple. It was bad. It was real bad. And so, I don't know if it's a dislocated jaw. Like, my jaw, like, I like feeling the left side of my jaw and the right side. Like, I don't feel any like difference. It doesn't feel like it's completely different. It's just, oh, goddamn. Maybe a pinched nerve. Might be a pinched nerve or like the muscle. Like my jaw muscles might be fucking all fucked up because of the punch. And so like they're all just contracting constantly and that's causing pain. Would suck if that's the case. So then that means I gotta go to the doctor. And I don't wanna go to the doctor. I don't wanna. You just suck. Just on this site. Because I have to. Because I'm fucking noble like that, I guess. Okay. So things to talk about. Things to talk about. Matter of fact, give me a second to think of a topic because I totally didn't think of a topic to talk about while I go get something to drink. Because I got tea and I need to have something. All right. So I got my tea brewing. So that'll be done in a little bit. But I'm going to have something cold. And it's something I always drink. And before you fucking health nuts say, oh, it's probably from your consistent fucking consumption of sugary beverages, I brush my teeth 3 times a day. I use mouthwash 3 times a day, not twice. I believe it's twice a day you're supposed to do it. And I floss, unlike a lot of Americans. Because I'm a smoker and I ain't having fucking a horrible fucking meth mouth. Nuh-uh. No, thank you. Not looking forward to that. No thanks. Are my teeth the best? No, that's not because that's. I was gonna say that's not entirely my fault, but some of it is like riding a bike with a flat front tire and then hitting the front brakes and falling head first once your 4 front teeth finally came in. So my right front tooth was chipped for the longest time. Or not wearing any face protection while playing airsoft and getting that same chipped tooth blown out yet again, making it more chipped. Yeah, while playing airsoft, I think 2012. Yeah, around 2012. So when I was 22, that happened, and then I think it was the year before 5th grade. I think it was the year before 5th grade. My fucking front right tooth got chipped. So I was like 10. Yeah, I was 10 years old because 2001, I was in 5th grade in telecommunications or TCOM when 9/11 happened. So yeah, I was like 10 years old going on 11 when my fucking front right tooth got chipped. That's it. I've never had cavities. Like, yeah, you've never said anything to me on the fusion ball thing. That's all right though, Sten. But yeah, I've also never had cavities. That's quite insane because when I was a child, I did not brush my teeth at all. My father would tell me to brush my teeth, and I would just close the door because I'd want privacy. When in actuality, all I did was just run the brush under the water, fucking brush it up against my thumb, and then I'd be like, all done. And I'd go right to bed without brushing my teeth. And I did that for fucking 4 or 5 years of school, from like elementary to like my probably 5th or 6th grade was when I started brushing my teeth, because then I started realizing, like, because health class kind of horrified me and scarred me with what they were showing us, which was actual meth mouth and trying to pull it off. Like that's the horrifying thing and the most disgusting thing about the healthcare system, or the health programs that they show you in school. They are highly propaganda fueled health videos. You don't know how many videos I saw in health class through middle school telling me that sex was practically bad because you're going to just immediately have babies. First time you have sex, you're going to have babies. Unless you wear a condom, then you're not going to have a baby. If you don't brush your teeth, you're like, if you don't brush your teeth after 2 meals, your teeth are going to start immediately turning yellow, then brown, and then they're going to start going black and rotting. And then you're just going to look like a meth head. Like, fucking, you better work out, or if you don't work out, you're going to gain 500 pounds in a week. Like, you got to work out. Or like, oh, if you smoke cigarettes twice in your life, your lungs are going to go from being like this bright fleshy pink to being fucking dark brown and looking like a corpse's lungs. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man, you don't need to horrify us about the human body. Just tell us tell us normal facts about it. Those alone are horrifying. Like tonsil stones. Tonsil stones are horrifying. Just absolutely gross. And no, I don't need to show like a meth user's mouth and be like, those are tonsil stones. If you use meth, you'll get those. It's like, no, those happen naturally. It's worse if you're a smoker, though. I should know. Great, show us oh my God, there's just so many things in the human body that can just be talked about that would just be hideously disgusting to know about and would probably make you go, yeah, I'm going to shape up and be a better human being after knowing this. I don't want that happening. Like athlete's foot. Because you have gym class and you have a locker room. Most locker rooms are mildewy or moldy, damp. They are mold central. Nobody can deny that. Nobody can deny that a locker room is not mold central. They are the dampest fucking rooms or like areas of a school. They just are. You walk into I have walked into so many school just gym locker rooms, just in my small amount of time on this earth, from fucking middle school to high school. So like what, 6 years? And I had gym almost every day for those 6 years, 180 days a year. So I got some fucking experience in fucking, gym locker rooms. And let me tell you, they're not fucking clean at all. And they are not the best fucking looking or feeling when you're walking barefoot through them. You walk in and it's just the temperature completely is like a fucking wall, because they have the fucking open showers that you can, like the communal open showers you can walk into. I mean, sure, they're separated by stalls. If your school had those, I had those, thank God. But there's no doors, there's no nothing. It's just they are open to the rest of the locker room. So you walk in, you take your clothes off, you shower, you just fucking you just dry yourself off in the stall, then put on your fucking fresh underwear and fucking tank top or your t-shirt or what have you, and just walk out. And then you put on the rest of your clothes, put your fucking regular school clothes on, and then you leave. But you got like 10 kids using just a hot shower. That's a lot of fucking moisture. That's a lot of heat just spreading through, just dispersing into that room. So now you have this moist, warm, this moist, warm room, perfect for mold. None of my teachers, none of my gym teachers, none of my health teachers ever told me about athlete's foot. Never told me about what kind of molds are attracted to and grow on the human body. Nah, No, we're not going to talk about this shit. Like, oh, we'll talk about STDs, but we're not going to talk about, you know, bacterial. I think it's bacterial vaginosis. You know, you go down on a chick and you get a fucking fungus in your mouth. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about how hideously smelling and fucking foul that is. We're not going to talk about the fact that it can pretty much just grow into your tonsils, or fucking you're going to have to take fucking massive fucking like half-foot long shots into your jaw to fucking inject antibiotics. Thankfully, I've never had that. Oh, I am so thankful I've never had that, but one of my friends in high school did. Like, and he had it for a good month before he fucking found out what it was. He just thought it was just bad breath. He was like, "Oh, well, I just keep eating fucking junk food all the time, and I only brush my teeth once a day, so it's probably just that." And it's like, no, you went down on this chick and you got vaginosis in your mouth. Congratulations. Fucking moccasin feet, which is like this incredibly fucking like it's like a fucking class 3 biohazard evolution of athlete's foot, where your entire foot looks like cracked leather. And that's if you don't clean your feet. This is your feet are gonna probably look like this, like athlete's foot. Where do you get athlete's foot? Oh, you know, in damp, moist areas. And you want to know what's really damp and moist? Your sneakers and boots. Locker rooms. Locker rooms are pretty common for causing athlete's foot, especially going into the showers. But now we're not gonna tell our kids this. And then I think it was fucking 7th or 8th grade. Our fucking one of our like minor sports teams. I think it was the football team or some shit like that. Surprise, a fucking surprise. Athlete's foot, a whole lot of them, because none of them were fucking properly washing their feet and keeping it fucking dry, like their sneakers and stuff. Because nobody wants to put, like, you know, talcum powder in their shoes or just air their shoes out. Nah, don't do that. We can't do that, because that's baby powder. Baby powder's for babies. I would not be caught dead using baby powder in my fucking shoes to keep my feet dry, or my shoes dry, so my fucking goddamn so I don't get mold growing in between my toes. Because that makes sense, folks. God, my health classes were pretty bad. Ugh. I remember one teacher. She was just awful. Like I am not exaggerating when I say she was probably the worst teacher I have ever had, barring, let's see, who were the worst teachers I've ever had? My 2 French teachers, well, 3 technically. My freshman year, French teacher actually moved to the Midwest, I think, to teach. So we had another teacher come in. So my 3 French teachers, because they just never made French interesting at all. It was just this boring, fucking dry academic kind of thing, and it just was awful. One of my English teachers, my sophomore English teacher, and then my health teacher, my health/gym teacher for 6th and 7th grade. Yeah, 6th and 7th grade. My health and gym teacher in 5th and 8th was the same one. And my 6th and 7th grade one was the same one. But my favorite was Mr. Bachman. Bachman was awesome. He actually was my father's gym teacher back when my father was in my grade. So you know he's old. But he was awesome in 5th grade. Also, he's the one that fucking bitched out the teacher that I fucking despise as my gym teacher, because I was having an asthma attack and she was on the opposing team. She was the teacher for the opposing team, and she was mocking me for gasping for breath while I had an asthma attack right on the court playing dodgeball. And Mr. Bachman was like, "The fuck you doing? Like, I'm gone to get paperwork, and the kid's having an asthma attack." So he brought me to the goddamn nurse's office. And that's when I was diagnosed with fucking asthma. So yeah, just that story, just that one story will tell you just how awful this woman is. So, health class. What did she tell us in health class? One, you know the meme. Oh God, I can't fully remember the meme. Let me grab it just so I'm not fucking spouting some bullshit. Uh, the it's the don't have sex. Yeah, don't have sex because you'll get pregnant and die. Like that meme from Mean Girls. Oh God, what was his name? Coach Carr. I think that was the teacher that told him like don't have if you have sex you'll get pregnant and die. Basically, that's what my fucking teacher told us. She's like, sex is really good. I'm not gonna lie to you there, but if you don't wrap it up, you will probably die. You'll get AIDS. You'll get gonorrhea. You'll get herpes. You'll get chlamydia. Like look at these genital warts. Look how awful that is. That's if you don't put a condom on, men. And ladies, you need to start talking to your parents about birth control. And we're talking 6th and 7th graders. Like in 6th grade, I was not like at the beginning of my 6th grade year, I was not even 12. Most of my class was my age, which is like 11, maybe close to turning on 12. Some of them maybe later in the next year. Because my fucking birthday's in December, so 3 months into the year, I've already had my birthday. So by December of fucking 2002, I had turned 12. And like I'm a fucking 12-year-old and I'm being told that I need to wear condoms and fucking the chicks in my class need to have birth control. And then the same thing happened the same fucking next year. Only this time she showed us births. She showed us a live birth on video. Oh my God, the fluids. Like that was the first thing. That was one of the things my father told me when I came back from that health class. Because I had to hand him in a paper, a form saying this is so and so, the health/gym teacher for your son. I'm going to be showing him a video on birth. A live birth will be shown. It is graphic. If you don't want your child to see this, don't sign the form or sign here. I forget what it was. And then, like, if you do allow your child, like, sign your name here. So my father signed his name there. He's like, oh, goody. You're in for a surprise. I'm like, nah, I don't think it'll be that bad, Dad. And then as soon as I came home after watching that video, he's like, so how do you like the video? I was like, the fluids. He's like, yep, happens. Sometimes women shit themselves too. Yep. And I'm like, oh God, I did not need to know that, Dad. And he goes, oh yeah, you need to know this because if it happens to you, you'll be standing there holding her hand. Thanks, Dad. Thanks. At least he was more pippy about it and a little bit more enthused. Like my teacher was as grim as a fucking inquisitor from 40K about all of it. Ugh. And only one, if I remember correctly, only one girl in the class signed. Her parents signed, "No, I don't want my child watching a live birth," and she was mocked. She was just utterly mocked into oblivion. Because she personally didn't want to see it, and her parents definitely didn't want to see it. And everybody was just like, "You're going to be doing this eventually. Like, if you're going to have a kid, and if you want to have a kid or a family, like 9 times out of 10, you are probably going to be the one pushing out the child." And it was just, ugh. then my teacher was pausing it during like the most disgusting possible moments. Like, warning, this is going to get a little graphic for you youngsters that are watching this. And if you're under 18, I don't know why you're fucking watching me. But so this woman started pushing out, and I'm talking. This ain't no word of a lie, folks. Black fluid, like she was pushing out the black like the black ooze from goddamn Prometheus, and the head was crowning, and she immediately paused it right when there's like a half gallon of black brackish looking water coming out, and she's like, "Now you can see here the head is crowning, and the vagina will spread exponentially to allow the child to push through the canal." It's like, I don't need to see this, ma'am. Like, I don't need to see a waterfall of goo. Please, like, I'm okay with seeing it in motion because it's only going to be a few seconds. I don't need to see that paused. I can still visualize that scene because she was harping on about everything, scaring the bejesus out of all of us. Like, oh yeah, like it's extremely painful, and you'll need shots of powerful drugs in your spine because of the pain. Some women can't even have natural vaginal births, and they will need a cesarean section where they take a knife and carve through your abdominal sheath, and they'll cut through the uterus and or the womb and pull out the baby through your stomach like a chest burster. And it's like, whoa, what? And sure enough, she showed it, and one chick nearly threw up. Because I'm sorry, but the doctors in that video were fucking butchers, because they cut her from fucking one hip to the next. Welcome, Frank. And ew, ingrown toenails. I have thankfully never had an ingrown nail in my entire life. I've had nails ripped out. Like, I've lost fingernails and toenails, but no ingrown. Also, you're a champ if you did that without anesthetics. Whew. Whew. I tip my invisible hat to you, sir. Because I'm not wearing my hat right now because it's fucking humid as shit in this room, even though I have the window open. But yeah, like, they were like, the doctors in that were butchers because they cut the chick from one hip to the next in length. And I have a few friends who've had children, and they've told me, no, like, we only got it like just under the belly button. It was just a small little scar now. Like, I've seen their scars because they post pictures, and they've cut, and we've hung out during the summer and stuff, and they don't have fucking giant goddamn fucking half their torso with a giant fucking gnarly looking scar. And then the guy goes fishing in hand first, thankfully gloved, but he just slams his fist in there like he's bobbing for apples with his hand. And he's like, or better yet, a fish. Picture taking a barrel and filling it with water, and you got one fish, and you drop that live fish into the fucking thing, and now somebody tells you, snatch that out with your hands. And you see this guy just slamming his fucking hand in there and just writhing around trying to catch it by the tail. That's what this doctor did. And he grabbed the baby by the fucking his fucking legs, and just yanked it out. Blood, just covered in goo and blood. And then they just put the baby down, fucking twisty tied the fucking, they had one of those like twisty tie plastic things to nip the fucking umbilical cord, and then wham, snip that off and done. And it nearly made one of the chicks puke, and I don't blame him for that, because that was some, I wouldn't even say saw levels. That was worse. Recently lost a nail too. It's growing back though. I say to the people who go, Would you get your nails removed when protesting declawing cats? Yes. My nails cause me more trouble than it's worth. Yeah, I have a phobia with nails, and it's usually when opening cans, like the pull tabs, because for some reason, like it was never this big of a problem pulling a pull tab on like a can of soda or like a regular drink. But for some reason, they are incredibly fucking like resistant to being pulled nowadays. And so I always have a feeling like my nails are lifting and they're gonna fucking like pop off or they're gonna rip because of how fucking like strong the fucking pressure is holding that tab down. So I just for years now I've just used a knife to open my fucking pull tabs on cans of soda and shit. I'm like, no, not having that happen. No, thank you. I have a phobia of losing nails. Thank you very much. Just awful. But yeah, those are some horror stories from my goddamn health class back in 2002, 2003. Just awful. Absolutely awful. Let's see. Oh God, what was the thing that happened? Oh, I'll talk. I've talked about this in detail for the most part in the Skype group I'm in. I got into an argument with people arguing and complaining about the national anthem and the NFL players kneeling before it. That was fun. Now, if you live under a rock and you just don't care about this stuff, I understand. It's sports and politics related, so most people are just going to fucking tune it out. But I'll make it a little bit more interesting for you. Police brutality and racism. That is what fucking Kaepernick was protesting. And so Kaepernick first started sitting on the bench. And I'm not a sports fan, but I know about a fair amount about this because, I find it interesting and it's for a good cause. So Kaepernick was sitting on the bench during the anthem. And so that was causing a lot of flack. And so if I remember correctly from an interview with Kaepernick, his manager or the coach or somebody on the team told him that and I'm not sure of the validity of this, but apparently when a serviceman dies, they fold the flag 13 times, if I remember correctly, and then they kneel before the family in honor of him. And so, if I remember correct, I'm trying to remember the whole fucking spiel of what Kaepernick said, but essentially he chose to kneel in reverence to the people who gave their lives for this country, and their sacrifice is essentially in vain because of the horrors that are still going on in the country, such as racism and police brutality. And so that's why he started kneeling. Well, now everybody's doing it, which is kind of hypocritical. I'm not going to lie. Like, Kaepernick can't get a job in the NFL. Nobody will hire Kaepernick. And, like, fucking, it's also, it's partly because he's a shitty player, if I remember correctly, and partly because of that. But it's kind of hypocritical that, like, if a team's like, no, we're not going to hire you because you keep kneeling, when almost everybody now is doing it. And so people have been kneeling because of the police brutality against innocent people and minorities. And so now everybody is, I just can't wrap my head around it. People think that they're kneeling because, they don't like America. like they're saying like, oh, it's so unpatriotic to kneel during the fucking national anthem, and oh, it's a disgrace to the flag, and veterans are pissed off. I've not really seen veterans complaining. I have family who are veterans. I have friends who are veterans, and they could give two shits what they're doing because, as everybody knows, they are using their First Amendment right to protest. So this chick on my Facebook was bitching and complaining, saying that it's a slap in the face to all the service members who have died because you're kneeling before the American flag during the national anthem. And oh, where's the then she started turning it around to like a veterans rights kind of thing where she's like, oh, why are there so many homeless veterans, and why are people shunning veterans, and healthcare benefits are being taken away from veterans, and veterans coming back can't get jobs, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, so I commented, and I was like, first and foremost, they're not kneeling in defiance against the United States. They're kneeling before the flag and the national anthem because of police brutality and racism, and people are confusing the two, and people are making a new narrative about it. And so she said, oh God, what did she say to me? Actually, hang on. I'll try and look it up on the phone. Because it was quite lulzy, the argument I had. And I'm not sure if she deleted the fucking post, which will suck, because I was going to get screenshots of it because of how hilarious the fucking guy was that I was arguing with. But Oh, that's right. She responded like, "Oh, well, it's still a slap in the face." And so I was like, "What? Kneeling before, like the kneeling during the national anthem, or the police brutality / racism?" And so this guy comes on like 3 hours after I had this argument with her, and it wasn't even an argument. It was just me stating the facts, and then her saying it's a slap in the face and not saying anything else, and me asking a question so I could respond. And he goes, the kneeling, it's an insult to us veterans. Like, I can't believe you're kneeling before the American flag and the national anthem. You're a disgrace to America. And I'm like, but it's their First Amendment right. Like, right to free speech and protest. He's like, yeah, well, if they're protesting police brutality and fucking racism, they can protest out front of a police station. And I'm like, what? Like, first and foremost, if you're going to protest at a police station, you're going to need a legal permit to protest out front of a police station. Secondly, these are football players. They have a busy schedule. They can't just sit they can't sit and protest in front of a police station. Also, what would the point be of protesting one police station when it's the entirety of the police force across the country where police brutality is taking place? And so he repeated the same things. It's a slap in the face to American veterans and just America in general and blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, all right, well, how about this? They are famous sports players that are being, viewed across the country live most of the time on television. They're playing to a national audience. Wouldn't it be smarter to protest so that the whole of your audience could see you? I would say yes, that would be quite simple and quite easy. You protest on national television. You show like, hey, I'm not going to stand for police brutality and racism, like still being such a big fucking issue in this country. And then you go and play your fucking football game. And so he started arguing again and talking about how he's a veteran and how he doesn't approve of it and how he knows a lot of veterans that don't approve of it, and it's just a slap in the face, and Trump's right, they all need to be fucking fired. And so I was like, all right, well, so you're basically going to completely, if you're a veteran, you're going to completely skip over their First Amendment rights. which allows them to voice their opinions and protest peacefully and try and have the United States government. Now, basically, oh God, I forget the. Let me grab the fucking. Oops, somebody commented on this. I'm gonna grab the fucking First Amendment. They have the right to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And so I quoted that, and I was like, huh. Like, you can't, like, Congress can't make any laws prohibiting free exercise thereof. Like, with, like, establishment of religion, abridging the freedom of speech, press, blah, blah, blah. And they have the right to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. And I was like, wow, you do know that grievances are usually something that people don't like. And a redress is to have the, like, redress means to evaluate these things that people don't like. And petition means to, like, try and have it changed. That's why you sign a petition for something. So they're not breaking the law. In fact, they're being protected by the law for peaceably assembling before a football game on the field before they play. And yeah, I don't see any problems with them doing what is one of their strongest and biggest American rights. And so the guy's like, oh, well, fucking Alejandro Villanova or something like that. Like, oh, well, he was saluting. He had his hand on his chest during the American flag, during the national anthem while looking at the American flag. And I was like, yeah, he did. And you know what? He's a veteran Army Ranger. And what? Look at this. He had a press conference where he literally said that it is every player's right and every person's right to speak their mind because he fought for this country, seeing as he's a veteran of the Army Rangers, and he is completely fine and understands what what the message is. And he even states that it's not a protest against the national anthem. It's not a protest against the national anthem. It's not a protest against the American flag or the American way. It's against police brutality and racism. And I linked to the guy the fucking speech, and I was like, huh, well, the guy you're saying is like a hero is actually, you know, stating the exact opposite of what you're stating. Funny that. And he never responded, which sucks. It really does suck. I like spanking. I like spanking idiot zealots like that. I do. Like, you're so hung up on a false narrative for, like, their reasonings for protesting. It's just delicious. It's just delicious. Love it. But yeah, like, just, I don't know why people are complaining so much about it. Like, I didn't really see that much fucking flack when Kaepernick was doing it, but now that everybody is bandwagoning onto it, now there's a problem. Now there's a problem, which sucks. God damn. Also, yeah, like, I don't care about the players. Oh, give me a second. I gotta like something on Facebook because it's so true. But yeah, like, I can care less about the players. I can care less about the football teams, but I can stand behind them on this subject in this matter because, you know, they're like me rambling last time over the fucking like over the fucking police brutality and why I dislike the police is never really gonna fucking shake the foundations of people's minds. It won't. Like me screaming on my soapbox in my alleyway and stating the same things that they are doing is not going to change anything. But knowing that these famous people that have millions of fans across the country and to some extent the world, and they're doing the same thing I'm doing, good on you. Good on you, because that means that, you know, there's actual, like, they actually care. They care about this. And there's people that complain being like, oh, get your politics out of the NFL. Like, nobody gives a fuck. All right? Nobody gives a fuck about politics. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares that they're actually spouting off politics. They're not. Like, they're not. Just get over it. Fucking get the fuck over it. They are doing exactly what anybody else would do in their line of work. They just are. They like the New England Patriots, because they won the Super Bowl. Some of them didn't even go to the White House earlier this year. Didn't really see as much protest or complaints. Didn't. I didn't see people like calling for a boycott and the burning of fucking Gillette Stadium. None of it. But oh hey, let's complain about this one. Because politics, man. You got my politics and my footballs. Yeah. Like, everybody has a political stance. Everybody. Everybody from the lowliest hobo / bum to the fucking highest echelon in the country. And so, yeah, like, they need to be the ones fighting the battles. Like I honestly think famous people should have a bigger part and role in matters like these. They should. Like, and there are some football players and basketball players and baseball players who have the deepest connection to this cause and movement. Like, there's football. Oh God, what football player was it? I think it was for the Seattle Seahawks or something like that. He was at a club, and a gunman came in and started firing at people, and so he hopped out of like one of the windows or out of the balcony of one, like, and dropped 10 feet. And when the police came, they saw him running, you know, for cover, and they attacked him and thought he was the gunman, even though he had no guns. He was just running like everybody else. He wasn't the only person running. There were multiple fucking civilians running out of the fucking place because there was a gunman inside. There's been times where there's been football players and famous sports, just famous people that have been caught in the fucking crossfires of just police brutality or fucking racial profiling. It happens. And even when it's a famous person, there's not really that much fucking flack. Just, oh, wow, that's pretty shitty. Well, at least they got the gunman, you know. Innocently accused and then tackled a man that had no part in the shooting. But hey, fuck it, right? Just fuck it. Just fuck. Oh, it's just so just talking about police. For some reason, the last 2-3 weeks have just been pissing me off more and more with cops. Like, I don't even talk about it at work. I don't talk about my political beliefs. I don't talk about my views. Because a lot of the time, it just pisses me off. It does. It just annoys me to no end. Like, and the sad thing is, and this is the cynical part of me, mind you, I don't really see it changing that quickly or that in the near future. I don't. Like, look how long it took for body cams to be, like, instituted into police departments. And even then, we're still having problems with fucking body cams because body cams just keep just magically turning themselves off. Oh, the battery died. That's why you didn't see like who gunned down this fucking innocent guy. That's why, like, yeah, like I know how to turn this thing off that I put on. That you have a class showing me, like, what to do. Like, what it just shut off. I don't know. I don't know why it shut off. I don't. It just magically did. And that's going to be a problem for many, 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 many years. Many years. Like, it's just, oh my God, I despise how slow things take to change. That's probably the biggest fucking, like, my biggest hatred in society is the lack of progress in a lot of social areas. Like, I think it was, oh God, it's like I forget if it's a law banning or outlawing sodomy. Like, I don't know. I think it was in the 80s. Quite racist. Maybe I'll ramble about that. I'm not sure, but fucking no. It's just like it'll always be a thing, and it'll probably be a real like. And this is just my theory. Like, this is my theory, or like my opinion about what's going to happen when we start colonizing other planets. I can see a lot of racism between planetary colonies and planets. I can see it. I can see go back to Mars, Martians. I can see it. I can honestly see a segregation styled or like highly racist opinion of other planets in the solar system. Uh, do, do, do. Hmm. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, now, oh, god damn it. Fucking Google goddamn Hangouts. Goddamn fire trucks going every to and fro. Being loud as shit. God damn it. But yeah, I can see racism being a big thing when it comes to colonies. I can. Like, think about it. The Mars colonization is going to need one big thing. It's going to need laborers. You're going to need a fucking massive amount of blue collar folk moving to Mars. You're going to need them to have to till the earth, build the structures, mine, do all the manual labor you need is going to have to come off from an off-world colony. So you're going to have to send millions of colonists that are manual laborers to work there. Well, what's probably going to happen is there's going to be a divide. There's going to be a partial divide where there's going to be a stigma. Sadly, Frank, we're not in the age for badass robots on the planet. That would be cool to have, like, just machines working everything on Mars. But with the way things are going, we're probably not going to have that. And I see a stigma happening with Mars on par with maybe the South. Like, between the North and South in the United States. Like, if things keep going where they're going to just send human colonists to Mars, it's going to become a backwater hickish, like, in the eyes of people, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's just where all the fucking all the Hicks just go there. Only Hicks come from Mars. I can see that. I can see people having a stigma against a Martian, and they'll probably call them Martians. If you're born on Mars, you're a Martian. Get the fuck out of here. We don't serve your kind around here. I think you should stay next to the land speeder. Oh God, like, it'd just be like Australia then. Like, if they made Mars a prison planet and they just sent him to Mars and they're like, hey, you're stuck here. Like, we're gonna stop by, drop food off for you, and pick up all the stuff you've mined for us. You're just going to be a penal colony. It'd just be like it'd be just like motherfucking Australia, where they'd be like, oh, only convicts come from Mars. Only convicts come from Mars. Your entire civilization is built on the backs of criminals and outcasts in society. Or Ireland, where they were just banishing people from England and Wales and Scotland to Ireland. Like, that's another thing. Like, oh my God, it would just be a fucking social nightmare. And if we were to continue to colonize, there would be, and another thing is, Mars is a fuck of a way away from us. Like, people fail to realize the distance between Mars and Earth. They're going to create their own culture. Slow and steady. Like, it's not going to be overnight. Like, once they build the first few buildings of this outpost colony, like, they're going to immediately have a Martian culture. But I can see it happening. Like, over generations, there will be a culture just completely built around the lifestyle on Mars. And I hate saying this, but I can see Martian rock, Martian rap music, fucking Martian culture and furniture styles and stuff like that, where this is my own vision of it, where it's like a very grungy, fucking, oh God, industrial look. Like, all their music will have that same tone of like Birmingham, England, where not Led Zeppelin, where Black Sabbath came out of. that had a very industrial tone to it. And that's because all four of the band members were growing up in Birmingham, which is a largely industrial city. And they were bombed into fucking oblivion during the Blitz. And so the socioeconomic situation of Birmingham, England produced a lot of not just Birmingham, England, just the whole of England after World War II created fucking basically some of the greatest musical bands of our time with a very deep blues oriented. I think it would go prisoners first, then, quote, other undesirables, then the Burgoyes, colonizers, once the undesirables did all the work, and, quote, native Martians would have the stigma. Pretty much, I could see that. Like it's just, there's going to be some kind of racial just some kind of racist fucking stigma between either Martians or Earth. Like there's gonna be something, and I could see, like, say they colonize Mars tomorrow. I could see in like 100 some odd years, like, yeah, I'll say 100. I'll say a century from now. Like, say the Martian colony gets colonized tomorrow and it's completely up and running tomorrow. Like 100 years to that day, I could probably see, like, once Mars is fairly populated and it has its own like military force and everything's going good, I could see the tensions flaring and there being a civil war between the Martian colonies and the Earth Federation. I could see it. Because we're humans. We're humans, and we like making cliques and groups, and we like to have an other. We like to have an other. Like, Christ, even you pointed it out. Prisoners first. They're the most undesirable people in the world. You got rapists, child molesters, murderers, arsonists, fucking all the world's worst fucking, just the scum of the goddamn earth. We'll just take that group of awful people and we'll move them over. We'll just move them over here. Thanks, Patrick, for the wonderful idea of just moving all these undesirables to Mars. And so it become a penal colony. And then you'd start sending other people that you don't need on Earth. Christ, I could see the population flaring during this, and them just going like, yeah, we want all of you to get the fuck out of here. We don't want your kind around here. And so they just shoot off other undesirables. And then once it's been built up to be this fucking not even a paradise or a utopia, but once it's a fucking fully sustainable colony, that's when all the rich people come in. And they'll be like, oh, hey, this is nice. This is a nice summer destination. We have Martian sunsets. Come see the red salt beds of Mars. Come see Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. And because of how fucking expensive it's going to be, only the rich will go. And it'll be they'll have news things where like, oh, like fucking, I don't know, like Ryan Gosling, like after his 70th fucking Blade Runner movie, going to Mars on his vacation. Instagram 3.5 has just come out, and he's starting to post pictures of Olympus Mons on his destination tour across the red planet. And that'll be the news. Local, like, fucking famous movie star goes to Mars, or fucking the president of the United States of America is going to Mars for a diplomatic mission. Like, I can see microcosms happening on a colony like that, because it's going to be country versus country still. So you're going to have ghettos of American colonists. You'll have a ghetto of fucking Russian colonists and then Chinese colonists in their own ghetto. So you have three ghettos bunched up together on a fucking planet millions of miles away from Earth, from any food source, power source, or anything like that. It's going to be fucking hell on Earth or Mars. It's going to be an absolute fucking logistical nightmare just with that, because you're going to have 3 different cultures and they're going to blend together. They're going to have this whole different society. You're going to have fucking Russia, like we'll just say the 3 big superpowers are the ones that fucking colonize it first and they send their people there. You're going to have Russian, Chinese, and American culture blending into one and making its own unique thing. And if it don't happen on Earth in that century, I could see Mars becoming the utopia for a cyberpunk civilization. Everything we think of cyberpunk, you know, where it's always rainy and fucking, you have Chinese fucking noodle shops on the side of streets, and you got all kinds of fucking weird people dressed in weird outfits. You got a mixture of Russian architecture with Americana and fucking Japanese/Chinese fucking flair to it all. I can see that being the look and style of a Martian colony over Earth. And that's just because all 3 fucking countries, peoples, are going to have to work together on this colony. And then their culture is going to be vastly different to any culture on Earth. And if say there's a Cold War that happens, and like, I don't know, the United States is in a Cold War again with Russia and China. They are not going to want fucking people. They're not going to want people from a colony millions of miles away that shares in the same interests and ideologies as 2 of its enemies. They're not going to want it. They're not. They're not going to want that, and there'll be a stigma. And the same thing will happen with fucking Russia and China. Plus, just they could create their own fucking language, for God's sakes. Their own language, their own like their own fucking lingos, their styles, like everything like that. That's something that needs to be done more in science fiction. Talking about the dramatic social fucking differences that will happen when a colony's formed. That needs to become a thing. That story needs to be told to show people, like, yeah, this is how horrifyingly fucking common it is for us to create niches and groups and then stigmatize them. Like, this shows you just how fucking repetitive the human mind is, and just human culture and attitudes. Like, yeah, we're not racist anymore to that extent, but we're racist to an entirely different group of people 2 million miles away from Earth. Like, I see that happening. The only way I can see that the only way I can see that coming to a close, or seeing just racism be completely, well, I wouldn't even say that, like, even my example would not really fucking remove racism. Aliens. If an alien civilization came down and touched on Earth, you know the grand old speech of, oh, all of our differences will be thrown away. Russia and China and fucking North Korea and North America will just kiss and make up, and we'll all fight for the common good of mankind against an alien foe. No. They're still, like, even if they came in peace, even if we won the war against them, if they tried to fucking invade us, there's still going to be racism because the other's gone. The unknown threat is either been eliminated by humanity, and we're going to pat ourselves on the back and think we're hot shits for eliminating an advanced alien civilization, which, granted, I'll give you that. Like, if they have fucking laser guns and mechs and shit, and we're somehow able to take them out, yeah, all right, I'll give you that, future me and fucking civilization. You deserve that pat on the back. But that's not going to stop racism. Yeah, we beat the aliens from invading us. Well, back to the norm, back to the status quo. Fucking, if they came in peace, racism would become just astronomically just massive. It'd just become incredibly bad, because humans would fucking start to, because humans are just inherently spiteful. I hate saying it, but humans are just naturally spiteful, hateful animals. It's just the truth. it's common nature to be paranoid about the other because the other is usually a threat. But if it's a peaceful race and they've shown you so much information and so they've done so much to show you we are not the enemy, we're not, we are your friends, there's still going to be people going, nope, I don't trust them. I don't trust them Venusians. They came to our Earth with advanced technology. They never wiped us out once in our entire lifespan. I don't trust them. I don't trust those Venusians. Fuck them. I could see, like, and I'm just going to use Venusians. Like, for some reason, fucking, there's an alien civilization on Venus. Like, I could see them fucking walking around the planet, like, walking to a city, and, like, they have a friend who's a human, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's have breakfast. I'll show you what breakfast is like. And they go into a breakfast diner, and I could see a cook or somebody working there going, we don't serve Venusians in here. I could see it, because it's a fucking alien. We don't trust aliens. Christ, look at it. Look at America with fucking illegal immigrants. They call them illegal aliens. They're foreign. Fuck the foreigners. Fuck the people that have been living across our borders and been trading with us, and they've never really shown any animosity towards us for fucking centuries. Yeah, let's just nah. Fuck them. They got brown skin. Fuck them. And if that's the thing, like that's racism now. The color of our skins is the clearly defining thing. You could have a fucking Nigerian American, like their parents immigrated over to the United States and they were born American, so they've been integrated into our like American culture. It's the color of the skin that everyone hates. That's what everyone hates. Like that's where racism comes in, because they, like, people just see the color of your skin and go, nope, don't like you. And so people are just going to assume, like, oh, well, if they're peaceful aliens, like, everything will be fine. No, because they're not going to look human. That's the other thing. Like, everyone thinks that aliens are going to be humanoid looking. They're going to look like the Greys or some shit. Like, no. Like, scientists have said, like, the chances of finding a humanoid race that bears any similarity to us is astronomical. They're going to be wholly alien. They will be the pure definition of the word alien to us. Christ, people mistrust robots because of the uncanny valley we still have. They don't look wholly human, so our brains can't comprehend it, and we just have an intense either hatred or paranoia or fear. They're just disturbing, and I've had that moment a few times. Exactly, the alien may not even be carbon based. We're not going to see Vulcans. We're not going to see Vulcans. We're not going to see fucking, Romulans. We're not going to see fucking Klingons or any shit like that. We're not going to see the Greys. We're not going to see Wookiees, even though Wookiees would be pretty fucking bitchin'. I would love for that to be the race that comes to us. Because then I'd totally try and get a life debt off of one of them. Be my fucking buddy. I'll never be lonely again. I'll always have a Wookiee. Yeah, they very likely won't use the DNA, RNA system. Like, the thing I would say, they'd probably be like the Tholians from Star Trek, like the silicon-based, like prism jeweled, like spider things. Those were pretty cool. Like, I could see that being like a civilization, maybe. Like, Christ, fucking, I'll give this to Stellaris. A lot of the aliens are fucking alien looking. Like, they are fungi people. And they look hideous. Also, here's something that proves my point. How many movies and video games and novels have there been where you are slaughtering aliens by the millions? No questioning. There's no questioning to like, oh well, it's just aliens are bad, kill them. Almost every single movie, book, and video game is like that. Every single one. Our generation, Frank and Sten, if Sten's still there, like our generation has been raised on pop culture telling us that aliens are horrifying monsters that need to be wiped the fuck out. Like that started in the 50s. Christ, the day that the Earth stood still proves this point in the smartest way imaginable. Fucking, oh God, yeah, Klaatu. Klaatu comes to Earth to broker a peace treaty between humanity and the rest of the galactic, like the galactic society. And he pulls out a little device, and the first thing that's done is he's shot. And he's like, "Oh, this device would have shown you every cure to your diseases and illnesses. It was a peace treaty." Humanity wouldn't know that. They'd think, "Oh fuck, he's got a ray gun, kill him." Instantly. 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 Have you ever thought when you're playing in Halo, have you ever thought of like what the Covenant think of humanity? I bet you didn't. I bet like anybody that's ever played Halo has never thought, I wonder what the common grunt or elite in Halo thinks of humanity. Like, do they hate us? Is it just like fucking yeah, they did start the war. But you can see like in the story of it, like it's just like if you actually pay attention to the plot, it's the higher ups in the Covenant that caused the war. They saw humanity as a threat and they wanted to wipe us out because we're just aliens to them and we're militaristic. And so like we only see them. Like we don't learn what grunts think. Like we see grunts running away from you because they're terrified that you're gunning their ranks down by the dozen. And most people run up and just bash them in the fucking head or shoot them or throw a grenade that way and just keep on going. The average gamer is not sitting there thinking, "Oh, hey, yeah, I wonder what's going on with this. I wonder what that grunt's life was before he became a grunt in the Covenant armies." Christ, Tolkien did that with Faramir. Once the Ithilien Rangers attacked the fucking Haradrim patrol, Faramir actually questions like, it's a shame really. Like, what lies brought him to this foreign land to fight a foreign nation? Like, what family did he leave behind? What were his thoughts while traveling? We'll never know. War makes corpses of us all. And I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, it's still a fucking political lie by the prophets, because apparently humanity was supposed to take over the Forerunners. And like, even though like apparently now they've changed that to where humanity was like this advanced civilization like tens of thousands of years ago. And so they were allies to the Forerunners, and then there was a war between the humans and Forerunners, and the Forerunners turned them all back into fucking they turned them into Neanderthals or brought them back to the Stone Age. And so now we've been slowly climbing up by that, but then it's like, where's all our fucking advanced technology? Like, where's the advanced technology that we had? Here's a perfect one. Alien. One of the greatest horror movies. It's just an animal. The xenomorph's just an animal. I mean, granted, it was used as a weapon. Just an animal. some fucking salvagers went out onto the surface of LV-426, and they just stumbled upon the fucking space jockey ship and a face hugger, a parasite attached to him, and started to propagate the species again. What happens? Send in the Marines, wipe out every alien. They're a monstrous creature. Wipe them out. I mean, granted, yeah, they killed most of the population, but that's because that's part of their natural fucking life cycle. That's just that's just natural for them. It's not like they're going, ooh, yeah, let's wipe out all humans. Like, we see in Alien 3 that it fucking like a facehugger attached itself to a dog/cow, depending on which version you watch. Like, it's just its natural fucking stage of growth. But you fear it. You hate it. You're cheering for it to be wiped out. Like, so yeah, I can see. I do not see racism disappearing in the near future at all. I think it'll just strengthen when it'll strengthen when we encounter aliens. When we find another intelligent life form, we're just gonna fucking despise them. They'll be outliers. I know that. Depends on it. I'll say this. It depends. Like, if it's an alien threat that invades the planet, I'm probably gonna hate them for my remainder of my life, because, hey, your species tried to wipe out my species. I'm kind of distrustful of you. But if they're like peaceful aliens and they're like, hey man, here's some technology, here's a way to cure your illnesses and stuff, I'd be like, all right, space buddies, I'll give you some rope, because maybe, just maybe, you're planning a secret invasion. You're gonna try and butter us up, and then it'll be like fucking to serve mankind. It's a cookbook. They're serving us. Soylent Green is people. Oh, don't even get me started on the anti-vax movement, Frank. I fucking hate anti-vaxxers as much as I do police. I hate them. I hate anti-vaxxers. I hate racists. I hate cops. I fucking hate jingoistic people. I do. There's a lot of types of people I hate. Just absolutely stupid. Fucking, I hate flat earthers. They piss me off. Yeah. Even though that chance is like a 1 in a, I don't even know. Like, I'll rattle off a number, and it's not accurate, but 1 in a million. Like, I would rather risk my child, possibly, maybe, even if, like, it was 0.00001% chance of my child becoming autistic. I'd take the fucking chance instead of watching them slowly die from fucking smallpox or measles or mumps or polio. I'd rather take that chance. And there was a woman that I was arguing with that actually said that she was not going to vaccinate her kids because they had a fucking gene mutation that wasn't even caused by the fucking vaccines. It was because of her shitty DNA and either her shitty DNA, the father's DNA, or both of them. They both had a gene mutation which complicated, and any child they have together is going to have that gene mutation. And it wasn't even, the vaccine didn't even cause it. All it does is it's a gene mutation that fucks with folic acid. That's it. And there's been studies done with the gene mutation, and they were like, yeah, the vaccines don't cause any complications with it at all. Like, it doesn't cause any complication. But she is adamant, because she's done the quote unquote research, and she was linking blog posts from anti-vaxxer sites that were just spouting shit off. She doesn't know that there's, biological or organic iron and aluminum. Was it aluminum? I think it was aluminum. and fucking, I think it's organic mercury. Like, she thought, like, the iron in your blood is the same iron as in, like, fucking nails. And it's like, yeah. Like, yeah, but like, if you look at the recipes, it'll say organic or biological to state like this isn't like we're not pouring liquid mercury into a fucking needle and then shooting your child up with it. Then there's the tuna fish, the can of tuna fish fucking argument that people against anti-vaxxers will point out, where it's like there's more fucking mercury inside of a can of tuna than there is in a fucking shot. Like, calm the fuck down, people. Just calm the fuck down. So, it just pisses me off. God, I don't know why people are getting stupider as the decades go on. I don't. Like the flat earth movement, hollow earth, anti-vaccination. Like, Christ, I remember my grandfather talking to me years ago, when I was like fucking 8 or 9. He was telling me, because my brother needed to get 2 vaccination shots, because my mother didn't vaccinate him fully when she abandoned him. And so he was complaining, and both of us were in the car, and he's like, you're lucky to have vaccines. Like, you're lucky you get these shots. Because my grandfather was born in 34? I think it was 1934 my grandfather was born. And he's like, you should have seen how many people in my generation that were suffering from things. Like, because we didn't have vaccines like this. And it opened up my eyes, being like, wow, yeah, that's true. And like my grandfather was telling us, like fucking what measles, smallpox, and mumps, and like all kinds of fucking horrible diseases that have been wiped out because of vaccines. At least in the United States. Like, I'm not saying like just every fucking country in the world is completely fucking vaccinated. That's not the case. But it's like, yeah, like it opened my eyes to realize, like, yeah, we're lucky to have vaccines. And then to see, like, oh, hey, there's a measles outbreak. Some cases of smallpox are cropping up. Black plague outbreak, and I think it was Yellowstone. It's like, wow. How is vaccinating a bad thing? How is vaccinating your children going to be a terrible, monstrous thing? I don't understand. Can you please fill in the blanks? Like, have you seen what these diseases that we essentially eradicated off the face of the earth in this little like a corner of the planet? Like, have you seen like the stages of it? Do you know how painful and destructive it is? Do you know the lethality to these things? And then they'll just start spouting off fucking crazy anti-vaxxer shit. I'm like, oh, okay, so you don't really understand the sheer magnitude of how awful it is to have one of these diseases. Okay. Like the chick I was arguing with, I think it was last week, didn't know what fucking I think it's communal oculation is. I think that's the terminology for it. Basically, like everybody's vaccinated, so there's like there's a buffer zone. And then like she didn't know. God, I forget what it was. I think it's mothers, like newborns have a vaccinated immune system because of their mother, until a certain stage, and that's why they need to be fucking vaccinated at a certain age range. Didn't know that. Just meh. My kid didn't get measles at like 1 month old. Or 2 months old, my kid didn't suffer from polio, so that means that vaccines are bullshit. It's like, no. Just because you'll never get it in your life doesn't mean that, like, vaccines don't work. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't make you right. That's just asinine. Christ, fucking flat earthers think, oh, well, since I'm flying on a plane and I can't see this massive curve in the earth, thus it's flat. It's like, no. Like, no. That's stupid. How does that make sense? How does it honestly make sense that because you can't see it, it's real? Like, I've seen so many things from flat earthers. The fucking moon's a hologram. The planets don't really exist. Like, you see a picture of fucking Mars, like a 360 image of Mars, and they're like, yeah, no, that's fake. Like, they see the moon and they're like, no, that's been photoshopped. And I bet you if you were to build a spaceship and launch them into fucking space so they could see that the Earth is in fact a sphere, they'd still not believe you. They'd say they'd come up with some new fucking batshit excuse. And I've stated this before. Conspiracy nuts, like flat earthers and anti-vaxxers, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories that these fucking crazies like to spout, they're insecure. A lot of conspiracy theorists have insecurities about reality. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. And the reason why they're insecure is because they don't like knowing that the world, like reality and the world in general, is this big, dark, awful, scary place. Like, the reason why 9/11 has so many conspiracies is because people don't want to accept that just a group of fucking Islamic extremists were able to smuggle themselves into the country, create false identities and paperwork, and be able to hijack planes and attack us in Manhattan and strike the World Trade Centers and strike the Pentagon. They don't want that. They don't want to believe like that actually happened. They want to think the government did it. That it's this massive fucking black fucking ops, government planted C4 explosives, and oh, well, buildings don't collapse that way, and oh, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Here's our numbers. And it's like, seriously? Are you being honest with me, sir or madam? Oh, you are. Well, fuck. You're an idiot. They just don't want to fucking, yeah. They want to think that they're in on it. It's why whenever you ask somebody, hey, where did you get your information? They usually go, well, I overheard it from a friend who works in the CIA, or I've got friends that know, and they keep me on fucking on speed dial to tell me shit, or I got connections. And if they actually show you their source, it's usually a blog post from yet another conspiracy theorist. Like, the fucking rabbit hole goes deeper and deeper and deeper the more you push them on information as to where they're finding out about this. And then there's the common sense question of, well, if you know this, then it's a horrible conspiracy. Like, think about it, sir. Like, the government, so you're trying to tell me the government secretly put explosives into the trade centers, right? Yeah. Okay. Nobody else knew about this? No, it was supposed to be a secret operation. They wanted to start a war in Iraq for fuel. Okay. Then how do you know, and where did you get your information? Oh, well, I have contacts. So those people knew. And how did they know? Oh, well, some of them work in the government, and they told me. Well, then that means that the government failed their job in trying to hide this conspiracy. And if there's thousands of you people spouting this belief, why aren't you being silenced by the government to cover it up? Because you'd think if your conspiracy theory was in fact correct, the government would be panicking that more and more people, would start believing it. And so they try to silence you guys before it got out of hand, before it was dragged out into the light. I got into an argument with a guy over fucking UFOs. The TR-3B, the Black Triangle UFO that everyone thinks is a fucking Black Ops operation by the United States. I asked him, how do you know that this thing exists? And he's like, oh, well, it's been declassified. And I'm just like, all right, well, what's the patent number so I can look it up? Where's the actual government patents? If it's all been declassified, I want to see the government's declassified files on this. It's declassified. If I wanted to look up something on the B-2 fucking stealth bomber, I could probably look up some fucking patents for it and some fucking information that's been declassified about it. Oh, well, let me look. And he sends me a blog post from a person claiming to be a fucking 5-star brigadier general in the United States Army. With with an engine that produces 250,000 Kelvin degrees and turns liquid mercury into fucking plasma, even though that'd be I think negative 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit. And Kelvin's degree is not a thing; it's kelvins or Kelvin, just a K, no degree symbol, sir. And then if you start disproving them and showing how much of an idiot and psychopath they are, they'll immediately say that you're a sheep. Oh man, that's amazing, Frank. For those who don't know, Frank just said, I like to use their paranoia against them. Quote, what if they're feeding you false information so that actual conspiracies are hidden in the noise? And yes, Kelvin degree. I shit you not, comrade. I shit you not. It was fucking absolutely, I even told him after reading 13 pages of this blog post, my only response was, well, that hurt, because the math made no fucking sense. And I'm not a physicist. I'm not a scientist. I'm just using common sense. And I was like, so what you're telling me is this engine produces 250,000 atmospheres of pressure inside the engine itself at like 250,000 fucking Kelvin degrees, and it superheats mercury into a high state plasma that creates propulsion and an anti-gravity field. And the guy's like, yep, that's what they're making. And I'm like, and they built this in the 90s. He goes, no, they built it in the late 80s or mid to late 80s. I'm like, all right, what fucking material did they use so that this, like, what material do they have that can withstand 250,000 atmospheres? He goes, what? I'm like, nuclear submarines can only go to like a depth of 72 atmospheres before the hull integrity starts to crack. That's in the water. That's not even that deep in terms of like the deepest fucking trenches of the seas, of the oceans. That's not that deep. That's our most technologically advanced nuclear subs. Yet they have a floating triangle that superheats liquid mercury into a plasma, which doesn't make sense because plasma is insanely hot. It's not in the negative 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. And it creates an anti-gravity field and propulsion, and the pressures that are being forced to keep this super dense plasma stable is 250,000 atmospheres. That's millions of psi. Millions. So I want to know what kind of shielding and material they built the engine and the chamber that does this. Because that would mean that you could fly right into fucking Mount Everest at an incredible speed, and the fucking thing will just bounce right, it'll just ricochet off of Mount Everest. Nothing. Yeah. Like, it just made, like, none of the math made any sense. And that's just common sense. And the guy just started fumbling about. He had no argument. I asked him, like, I just kept harping on the material. I was like, if you have a material that dense and that strong to withstand those millions worth of psi, why isn't everything made out of it? Why aren't tanks, fighter jets, boats, submarines, cars? If you had a car that could withstand 250,000 atmospheres, there'd be no accidents. Two cars colliding, they just bounce off each other because they wouldn't be able to produce the pressure needed to even damage it. Like, why isn't this being used for buildings? Why isn't anything being, like, why is it only being used on one plane, one craft, one pyramid or fucking wing-shaped craft? Why is it only being used for that? And why isn't the government showing, like, this technological breakthrough that could solve millions of problems? Well, I don't know. I was like, but you do know. You told me that it's declassified information. You told me that you know this thing exists. You've tried to show me your evidence, but your evidence ain't making sense. The math don't. The math that is stated in those fucking blog posts and what you're harping on does not make sense in reality, sir. Negative 1600 degrees Fahrenheit doesn't exist. It doesn't. Kelvin's degrees doesn't exist. It's just Kelvin. And the temperature that you're posting in Kelvin is negative. When you're talking about plasma, plasma is incredibly fucking hot. The sun is made out of plasma. Arc welders produce more heat than the engine's propulsion system. None of this makes sense, sir. What is your response? He's like, I just don't know. I'm like, exactly, you don't know. The only reason why you think it exists is because you think you saw one when you were a child. And I'm going to tell you now, you probably mistook something for it. You probably saw something. Maybe it was a kite. Maybe it was a kite. And if it was at night, like, because apparently nobody has ever seen one of these things, like, in the field in the middle of broad daylight. They've always seen it at night. You probably saw fucking planes. You probably saw a plane, and that's it. I was like, take what you're saying and paste it to just take TR3B out of all the insane shit you're saying. How you have detailed photos, you have detailed video proving you right. People have recorded it and taken pictures of it. Just take out the word TR3B or the word Black Manta and put Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Well, I don't believe those. People who think Bigfoot or Loch Ness exists are crazy. I'm like, exactly. Even if they showed you video evidence and photos, you still wouldn't believe them? He's like, no. I'm like, all right then. You yourself are a Bigfoot fucking believer, but with a fucking black triangle with lights. You are insane, sir. And the absolutely insane thing, he said, true. True. So either he knew he was talking a bunch of bullshit, or he realized how much of an idiot he is. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Seems it. And he ain't the only one that thinks it. He ain't the only one that thinks that. He, like, oh boy. The insanity is just mind-boggling. It fucking, it just drives my, it just makes my skin crawl. My blood boils. Makes me want to strangle the life out of these people, because it's just, you would be able to squeeze blood out of a rock. I could squeeze blood out of a rock. I could talk a brick wall to open or move aside for me to get inside the building before I was able to actually convince these people that what they think is insane. That's how nigh impossible it is to convince a conspiracy theorist. The only way a conspiracy theorist will actually stop believing is usually, and this is you, and I'm talking the majority here. The majority of the people I've seen that are like, oh hey, yeah, like I'm fucking I used to be a conspiracy nut, or I used to be like a 9/11 truther, or a fucking flat earther, or an anti-vaxxer, is through their own personal situation. That's it. Like, that's it. At some point, their brain just clicks on like a light bulb, or they finally start questioning things. Christ, my friend Nicole had a moment like that, and that was probably my unicorn moment. That was my unicorn moment because she was a hardcore libertarian, like conspiracy levels libertarian. Like, she thought that the government was trying to kill people. She thought the Federal Reserve was helping FEMA produce death camps, and like the Federal Reserve is the actual government in the United States, and social security is just a lie. It's a way to just make people into slaves. And so I would argue with her almost every other night because it was just infuriating seeing somebody I know act that way. And I was like, stop it, Nicole. Stop it. You're embarrassing me as just me being your friend. Stop it. And so finally she went after like a certain amount of time. And I'm not talking like just over one argument or something. I'm talking over multiple months of constant arguing, both in private messages, in person, through text messages, and just public like Facebook threads on her statuses. She finally started questioning it, and when she questioned her boyfriend, who was the nutcase that actually got her into it, he immediately broke up with her. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anybody home? Okay. So Nicole's boyfriend immediately dumped her. Once she started questioning him, like, well, what about this? Like the Federal Reserve, Nate, yeah, fuck, dox myself. Oopsie. Darth told me that the Federal Reserve, like, you know, to pull out an old meme that me and Frank and everybody in the group used to have when OWS is going on. Darth told me that the Federal Reserve does in fact have gold bars, and they aren't lead bars painted gold. And I'm sure that'll get the chuckle out of Frank when he hears that. And so he started panicking. Like, apparently he's a hippie, quote unquote. He's just a hippie. Just, you know, bebopping around, minding his own business. Nothing out the normal, nothing out of the ordinary. And as soon as she started asking questions about his fanatical, like, conspiracy theorist level libertarianism, he went from being calm and mellow to just screaming in her face and fucking calling her a sheep. She drank the Kool-Aid, apparently. She's one of us. Just goddamn. And, like, most hypocritical thing, he was an EMT or a firefighter, which means that he was a civil servant. There's that term again. I used it last time when talking about police. And, you know, they use taxes. Taxpayers' dollars go to their salaries. And he said that taxes were just are just thieves. They were just robbing you. That's all they're doing. They're thieves. The government's thieves. The Federal Reserves are thieves. They're not using the tax money on anything. They're just hoarding it away somewhere so they can be rich. And so I was like, well, how are roads fixed and made, and schools and libraries and police and firefighters and hospitals and shit? My tax dollars go into that. That's why when a town or a city ups the taxes in that city or town, they usually state, hey, our school funding is low, or we don't have enough funding, so we're going to up taxes in the town and shit. My town had that problem. They had an influx of children coming in for the next following year, and they didn't have enough money to hire, I think it was like 10 new teachers for yearly salaries for the increase to the population of town, so they had to up taxes slightly. And that was happening around the time that he was bitching. And I was having these arguments like 2012, 2013, around that time. So I was like, well, what about that? It's not the feds. It's not the government doing it. It's the town itself. Because they need more teachers. Those tax dollars are going to be paying for the yearly salaries of each teacher. Oh, it's just a lie, man. Feds are behind that. Federal Reserve. I'm like, whatever, you crazy fucking weirdo. Just, absolutely insane. And so when Nicole started questioning him about this, like, maybe all this is just a bunch of insanity. Like, this is just a bunch of doohickey. Maybe the feds, maybe the federal government and reserve aren't these insane fucking tyrants. Maybe they aren't trying to steal my money. That's when he dumped her and fucking she broke down and started questioning reality for fucking the year they were dating. And she became suicidal after one argument me and her had, because she had asked him questions and he would not answer. And sadly, she fucking fell right back into, she wanted to live back in fantasy world. She wanted to know, she wanted to be the know-it-all. She wanted to know the truth. So she started fucking, she went right back to that. Went right back to believing. And she blocked me because of the argument. After fucking texting me and fucking freaking out and crying and shit like that, she fucking just, you know, I'm just gonna block him now because he's toxic and he's a sheep. He's a follower of the Federal Reserve. He's drank the Kool-Aid. Darth's not telling the truth. Darth's not talking common sense. I'm talking common sense. I know what's going on. So I haven't heard from her in like 4 years. Which sucks because she was a fairly good friend. And like that's another thing that makes me hate people like conspiracy theorists and nuts like that, is because it really does divide friends and family. Like, I've had that happen to me. There's people on my Facebook still, like, to this day, that are conspiracy nuts. Like, I have friends who are racists, and it fucking disgusts me. And you don't know how many arguments I've gotten to them, and I just don't talk to them now. They're still on my Facebook, but I don't talk to them. I don't fucking like any of their statuses. I don't follow them. There's been quite a few that have been fucking just erased from my contacts because I just cannot put up with that toxicity and asinine fucking attitude. From racism to anti-vaxxers to fucking uber theists. 9/11. Oh Christ, what other conspiracies have I fucking had? Yeah, horrible pleasure of fucking dealing with. Them hooked on it. There's family. I've had families or friends, family friends or friends families fucking vehemently against their beliefs because of how insane and dangerous it is. And I've watched families just fall apart because of these things. It happens. and it sucks. And so having that kind of personal attachment to people and seeing their lives become fucking twisted fucking senses of reality just pisses me off. Because I'm like the guy that I randomly argued with about fucking the TR3B, like I kind of pity him because and to an extent some of his friends and family that are probably against it and probably don't believe it. And I also hate it because he's going to propagate it. There's going to be some friends and family that he's going to talk their ears off about it, and he's going to have such such a passion in what he believes that it's going to convince them. And so I have a sense of pity and a sense of hatred, because that means he's just going to keep propagating this lie and this fucking incorrect view of reality. Kind of like the guy, December 21st, 2013, the supposed end of the world. Like there was that one guy that was trying to have people buy shirts and shit so that he could live stream himself jumping off of a cliff somewhere in the fucking Southwest, because he was like, oh, I did the math and I looked into the Bible and there's going to be a portal that opens up. And I'm going to jump into it and that'll delay fucking the end of the world. And he never did it. All fucking conspiracy theorists that think that like the world's going to end because they've somehow through something, I don't know how, they've looked through fucking the Quran or the Bible or the Old Testament or the New Testament, and they've somehow come up with a mathematical equation and a date through Bible verses or fucking scripture here and this chunk here and all this here, and doing math comes out to fucking like 2017, like that. Like we just apparently were supposed to have an end of the world event that was supposed to have happened. Didn't. We're still kicking. And so people just keep on fucking believing that shit. Like that shit pisses me off. Because even if they're proven wrong, they're proven right. Because it means they just got the math off. They got the math wrong by just a bit, and they'll come back with a new calculation. They'll come back. Don't you worry. Because, fucking people who devote their lives to the study of medicine and science and history and whatnot, like, no, they're drinking the Kool-Aid. They're not the ones with the facts. I'm the ones with the facts because, I listen to fucking blog posts. I watch Alex Jones, a guy with no scientific background whatsoever. I believe him. You're all sheep. You don't believe anything I'm saying because, Big Brother's gotten to you. Ugh. God. Just absolute horseshit. My phone just went off. I got messages. 2 messages. Yep. They always do. Like that's, oh my God, it's just absolutely infuriating to me. Just no matter what you do, we're always going to be there. They're like a fucking hydra. You cut one head off and two more take its place. That's why I've always said that if you argue with somebody and you're trying to change their opinions on something, it's 95% of the time a lost cause. Like they have to have an open mind. They have to be willing to accept change. If they are total fucking nuts, like conspiracy nuts, and they refuse any fucking evidence you have, they're always going to counter. They're always going to bring up something. Like say you argue your point flawlessly. You show them all the evidence in the world proving that the moon, like say it's a moon lander conspiracy nut, and you're like, well, you can go here and you can see where the structures are, or you can go to fucking, there's certain parts of the planet where they have fucking beams that shoot up to the sensors on the moon that were left there in fucking 1969. Like, you could show them all this evidence proving you right because it's common sense that, yes, we did land on the moon. They'll go, all right, well, I'll check back on it. I'll look into it. I'll do some research. And like a couple days go by and they'll be like, but you're wrong here, sir. Like, I was reading this article. This article on fucking, like, I don't know, like Alex Jones. And he says that, yeah, they did put those sensors there, but that was because it was a probe. We never actually sent people. Or they'll bring up something else that shows that you duped them somehow. And so then you're going to have to argue with them again and again and again and again. And they'll always come back with more information that they found. Because the fucked up thing is, conspiracy theories have so many facets to them and so many different explanations for the same fucking thing that they're always going to think they're right, because you're only going to keep telling them the same fucking thing. Because it's the truth. Like, oh, well, we didn't land on the moon. It was staged in like the Nevada desert. And you're like, no, it wasn't. It was on the moon. And I'll show, and this is all the steps they did to land on the moon. And then they'll be like, oh, you got me there. I'll look into it and educate myself. And then they'll come back and be like, oh, well, they didn't do it in the fucking Nevada desert. They did it on a sound stage. They took pictures of the moon with satellite probes. And so they had Stanley Kubrick direct it. That's why in The Shining, fucking, oh God, what's his name? Bobby? Billy? Timmy? Forget the kid's name, but he has like the rocket sweatshirt. And that's why Stanley Kubrick was trying to tell us in The Shining that he filmed the staged moon landing. And it's like, no, we still have, like, we have sensors up there. We still have rovers and fucking debris. We still have the flag on the fucking moon. All right, well, I'll educate myself. Oh, well, you see, I was listening to Alex Jones, and he said that the Stanley Kubrick thing is just a load of horse shit. And, like, they never filmed it on set. Not with Stanley Kubrick, though. They filmed it in Tunisia, and they sent probes, and they had the probes crash. And so the sensors you keep telling me about aren't actual sensors. It's just it's the debris field from when they were when their probes crashed. And it's like, no, they fucking sent men up onto the moon. There's fucking what, 7 or 8 Apollo missions. Like, there's irrefutable proof, there's radio logs, there's communications, there's live televised fucking, images and video of them landing on the moon. Like, we didn't land on the moon just once. All right, yeah, 6 Apollo missions. Like, we've landed on the moon multiple times. 6 that landed. Like, there's 6 times where we've landed and there's been televised video footage of them landing and communicating. We've brought back moon rocks. We've brought back dust. A lot of the spacesuits still have dust on them because of the fucking electrical fucking static to it, where you just can't get it off the fucking spacesuits. We've propped up how many fucking American flags on the goddamn moon where we landed? Like why would the country spend billions of dollars producing rockets, training men for months, if not a year or more, to face the rigors of zero gravity, launch them into space, and then just send them, and then just have them floating around in space for fucking God knows how long, and then have them come back down, and then claim to land on the moon? Why would the U.S. government invest so much time and money into that? Oh, all right. Well, you got me there. Oh. Well, I was reading this blog post, and the reason why was because we were in the Cold War, and they wanted to try and scare Russia. And that's just basically how arguing with a conspiracy nut friend is like. They're always going to come back because they have multiple facets to the same story. There's always different, like, you can never find a clear, singular narrative for a conspiracy theory. There's so many different variants. So many different variants of the fucking 9/11 conspiracies, the fucking moon landing, Bigfoot. Like, Bigfoot. Fucking Bigfoot's apparently all over the United States. They got the Swamp Man. They got the fucking skunk ape in New Jersey. They got Bigfoot in the fucking Northwest. The Chupacabra, apparently, like, oh, well, maybe the Chupacabra is not a fucking, like, kangaroo-looking alien with spines on its back, but actually a dog, but it's a demon dog. Like, there's so many different versions. So many different versions. And they'll always go back. They'll always look through, and if they find the same story they were spouting, they'll be like, well, somebody's going to know more. And they won't put 2 and 2 together going, wait a minute, why is this story dramatically different to this story of the conspiracy? They'll only latch on to the new information and then bring that into the fold of their narrative. Like, oh, they didn't put C4 throughout the whole building. They only put it around in, like, they only put explosives in the basement. Or, oh, well, World Trade Center 7 or Building 7 collapsed because of, like, targeted demolitions. That's why it fell. Or, oh, well, the planes had explosives in them. Or they had massive tanks worth of fuel. They didn't have passengers. Like the Sandy Hook shooting conspiracies, the fucking... Any school shooting nowadays has a conspiracy behind it. The fucking Boston bombing, apparently a lot of the people that were injured aren't actual people. They're androids. I've actually seen somebody try and say that they're life model decoys from fucking Marvel Comics. Like the guy who lost his leg. Those aren't arteries and muscle and, like, tissue just dangling off of him. No, those are power coupling cables. That's what's keeping him, like, moving so he looks real. He's a life model decoy. They're fucking robots? Seriously? I've seen a conspiracy nut on YouTube years ago because when we were in Hate Club, we tried to bring conspiracy nuts onto the show so we could just mock the fuck out of them. There was one guy I actually communicated with who thought the Greys made a deal with the FBI and the U.S. government to blow up the Boston Marathon. And what they did was they planted replicants, like the ones from fucking Blade Runner. And they placed them all strategically so that when the bombs went off, they'd be damaged, but not the actual people. And what they did was they killed the actual people and replace them with these life model decoys. And so when you look at the pictures, you can, in the video clips of them moving these life model decoys out of the blast zone, and they're all bleeding and shit. They're like, the people are trying to cover them up, not because they're bleeding out, but because that'll show the mechanical guts of the replicants. What? And this is an actual conspiracy. And the thing I hate the most about fucking conspiracy theorists is they poo-poo other conspiracies because they think those are too insane. Those are too insane. The conspiracy theory I adhere to, though, that's the truth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yep. Sure thing, Sparky. Yep. You thinking that fucking the U.S. government has been communing with Greys to create life model decoys so they can bomb a fucking a race, a marathon, to create outrage and paranoia in the country so they can gain more power. Yep. You are, yeah. Not as insane as fucking Bigfoot. Nope. Not as insane as that. Or the fucking Maria Hill. I think it's Maria Hill, or the fucking the one of the biggest U.S. UFO abduction. Yep, that one's too insane. But fucking yeah, aliens working with the U.S. government to make replicants and blow up a marathon. Yeah, that right there makes a hell of a lot more sense than Loch Ness, Bigfoot, and alien abductions. Because you don't want to sound crazy. Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say. Whatever you fucking say, guy. Just, oh my God. Just thinking that there's people like that breathing air, wasting resources. Like we could be bettering society, but they're too strung up on a fucking on such an insane fantasy. I'm working a fucking 9-to-5 job, busting my ass for a fucking paycheck so I can fucking eat and live a normal, comfortable life. Just minding my own business, living my life, listening to the news, reacting to said news. And you get these people who are like, nope, this is the real narrative. This is the real narrative. Fucking aliens and robots, man. There's lead bars painted gold in Fort Knox, don't you know? Degrees Kelvin, man. Creates fucking... It creates cold plasma, man, out of liquid fucking mercury at 250,000 atmospheres. I know, man. My uncle is a fucking 5-star brigadier general. It's all declassified. It's like, what the fuck are you smoking? What are you smoking? What drugs are you on, sir? Can I please have some of it? Can I please? Because I could really use some of this stuff to get out of the crap sack world I live in. Their brains can't comprehend a lot of things, Stem. And granted, I will state this for the record. There are some good conspiracies, and there are a lot of bad conspiracies. The Watergate scandal, the people who were thinking and spouting and that actually saw the facts and were theorizing that it was an actual conspiracy, like the fucking definition of a conspiracy, like those people are in the right. Like when actual conspiracies are happening and they're found out and brought out into the light, those are actual conspiracy theorists. People thinking that fucking Roswell was an alien crash site and that we've been communicating with the Greys for fucking decades now to create all the technology we've come across and created. That's a bad conspiracy. But the difference is actual conspiracies, like the Watergate scandal, a lot of evidence for that. They had irrefutable proof in the Watergate tapes. Yeah, MK Ultra. But that's the thing, Frank. Evidence. There was massive amounts of evidence. They had documentation. They had all kinds of things. That's irrefutable evidence. But like when you go with what evidence do people have of like 9/11, or that the Greys are communicating with the federal government and they created replicants for the Boston Marathon bombings? They don't. All they have are videos. Just videos. That's it. Or photoshopped images. Christ, people will say, people are saying Obama was a reptilian, because for a second the camera blurred a little bit and you could see maybe a reptilian eye. Fuck, just my brain hurts just knowing that there's people like that. Like I've seen on just message boards on Facebook, people posting videos and GIFs of the trade centers falling. They're like, oh, look at that, look at that little fucking puff of smoke coming out the bottom, like 5 floors before, like under the fucking collapse. Like when the fucking top of the building finally the structural integrity of the building couldn't withstand and it started collapsing. You can see little puffs of smoke everywhere coming out the sides. That's where the explosives are. That's it. That's your only evidence. You don't have any kind of fucking. Oh, well, I'm an engineer. I know that buildings don't fall like that. Well, it's kind of weird because I've seen engineers disprove conspiracy theorists, and they've shown their degrees and their fucking know-how. They've shown their credentials to show that they are in fact a fucking architectural engineer. They know how this goes. There's weapons explosives, like explosive experts, that have shown their fucking credentials and disproven you. Where's your credentials? Don't have any. They're not going to show their credentials because the government will find out and they'll black bag them. Oh, like with MK Ultra and the Watergate scandals, those were actual conspiracies. And there's a mountain of evidence showing that, yes, this did in fact happen. The only the evidence we have for 9/11 is that fucking planes smashed into the fucking buildings and the buildings collapsed. And we know the structural integrity of those buildings. I remember pointing out to somebody that the trade centers were designed, if I remember correctly, for small plane crashes because of the Empire State Building. And I was like, well, what about that plane crash? Plane crashed right into the Empire State Building. Was that an inside job? Well, no, of course not. Why would they take out the Empire State Building? Why would they take out the World Trade Centers? It's a terrorist attack. Like how would it benefit the world? Like, how would it benefit the government destroying trade centers? Oh, well, it'll create paranoia. It'll make us want to go to war. Okay. Do you know how much money they just caused in damages? Do you know how much fucking, like you're telling me that because they want to go to war, they killed thousands of people, caused millions of, like, untold millions worth of dollars in property damage, wasted fucking millions of dollars probably creating this conspiracy, probably paying out the ass to keep people quiet, drop the temperature of the planet by a fucking fraction of like a degree or something because of all the smoke, all the particles put into the atmosphere, because that's an actual fact. Like, I forget how much the temperature, I forget the degree pointage, but it wasn't a full degree, but it was like a fraction, an incredibly small degree change, because of how much smoke and just particles came up from 9/11. You know, they're just gonna do all of this so we can go to war. Bush is just gonna look flabbergasted when it happens because he's an amazing actor. Like, Bush spent millions of dollars himself trying to get the best fucking actors and fucking tutors so that he can act like he didn't know this was gonna happen. And I've seen conspiracy nuts go, well, he wasn't a part of it. It was Cheney who did it. Or or the New World Order. That's another conspiracy theory that I've had to argue with, that friends of mine and family that I've known have fucking believed. Like, the New World Order did it. Oh, Bush is part of the Skull and Bones Society. That's part of the New World Order. They put him into office. They changed the ballot number, man, in Florida. That way he'd win and Gore would be out. That's why I wish I had a time machine, so I could go back in time with them and be like, okay, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change this point in time so that Al Gore wins. And we'll speed up to September 11th. And if it happens, what are you going to say then? Is it still an inside job? Yeah, Bohemian Grove, the Illuminati, Build-A-Bear Group. Ugh. So many fucking things. Like, okay, here's something. We have a client that we do landscaping for. His name is Joe George. He's a Freemason. One of the guys that worked with us for like a month, I forgot all about it because of just how fucking asinine it was. When he saw his Freemason symbol, like, he has like a fucking insignia, like it's just like a metal fucking badge that he has on the back of his car, on the trunk. Like, as soon as he saw that, he immediately freaked out and said that Donald, my boss, is working with the Illuminati. And that's why he quit. Because he was not going to work for the New World Order. If you think that's insane, folks, to the people that will probably be listening to this now or later, like, if you think that's fucking insane, then congrats, you're a sane person. You're not a crazy. That's why I think I'm insane, because I think practically everybody I fucking interact with is crazy. Practically everybody. Not everybody. The majority. And the majority of the people I talk to aren't even friends of mine. I don't think my friends are insane. Well, granted, the ones that are fucking spouting shit like the Illuminati and the Bohemian Grove or a thing are fucking crazies. And I'll probably stop talking to them. But most of my friends that I talk to are not insane or crazy. Give me a second. There we go. I had to respond to somebody on Facebook. But yeah, like, oh my God, I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't. I can't. It just makes me question humanity. It makes me lose faith in it. People question things that don't need to be questioned, and they don't question the things that actually need to be questioned. Like, instead of questioning like police brutality or fucking racism or fucking Trump's policies or fucking their own state policies or city policies, or questioning the fucking the geopolitical situation on the planet. No, I'm gonna question that fucking bright light I saw in the sky that didn't look like a star. No, I'm gonna think fucking. I think I'm gonna think Trump's a-okay in my books, but you know, flat Earth or global warming. That's another one. Global warming, climate change deniers. I fucking hate climate change deniers. Like, oh, like I'm with Trump. Climate change it ain't a thing. There ain't no way. There ain't no way the planet's warming. You know, we just randomly fucking had what, 3 or 4 hurricanes in the matter of a month. That's normal. That's normal. Yep. Absolutely normal. Makes me want to drink. Makes me want to just crawl into a bottle and just drink that fucking stupidity away. Oh, GMOs. Fucking GMOs. That's another thing. That's another one I've argued about with people I know. Oh, so much stupidity. It's awful. Absolutely awful. And it just keeps going and going and going. Like, the scientific community can't like that's probably the biggest fucking tragedy. Is like the scientific community has to continuously the scientific community can't keep pushing forwards. They have to keep going back to things they've proven and argue with the masses that don't believe them. They have to argue and debate and prove them wrong. Christ, Bill Nye's argued with fucking, oh God, Ken Ham, I think that's his name. He's had fucking debates with him. Fucking, you have Neil deGrasse Tyson on fucking Twitter arguing fucking flat earthers. Like, they're trying to fucking push humanity further in the knowledge department, and then they have these people going, "Oh, you're liars, you're frauds. This isn't true." Evolution, like that's another thing. That's another thing I've had to argue with about is evolution. It's just mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling that people are that willfully fucking ignorant. Makes me sad. Yeah, like patent law and copyright, that's fine. Like arguing that is fine. But like you've got people are like it's like the fucking, oh god, what's the term for it? The organic people, the people that want organic foods. I think those are like GMO nuts are all about that organic shit. Like having worked in a food distribution plant or warehouse, I can tell you like a lot of organic foods are a crock of shit because the place I worked at would just slap a GMO, like a organic stamp on it. Like peaches, they have a small little farm where they grow peaches and berries and shit. All they did was they divide up the peaches they harvested, put them into fucking boxes, the same packaging, and all they do is put organic. And so a normal peach that they'd sell would go for like $2 or like $2-3 a pound or whatever the price for fucking peaches is. That's the normal one. But the organic one, they jack that fucking price up to like $5-6 a pound because it's organic. No difference between the fucking peaches. They're both the same. They're from the same farm. They got the same pesticides, same soil, same everything. Just got a different. It's just got a sticker on it saying it's organic. And there's been people I've argued with, and I've told them that, and they're like, "No, you're lying." And it's like, "No, I'm not fucking lying." Like a peach is a peach. Like organic peaches don't taste better or worse. They're just fucking peaches. Same with oranges and apples. Fucking cherries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, fucking passion fruit, bananas, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, potatoes, fucking you name it, grown on a farm, gonna taste the same. I've yet to taste a potato that doesn't taste like better or worse. There's different species, different types of potatoes. Each one has its own unique taste, but it's slight. Some of them have an earthier taste, some of them don't. Like some apples are more tart or some are more sweet. But those are types of apples. Like, you give me a Macintosh grown in fucking Maine, and then you give me a Macintosh grown in fucking California, I'm probably not going to taste any difference. They're going to, like, you could tell me both are grown in Maine. You could take the one from Maine and tell me that's from Cali, and then the one from Cali and tell me that's from Maine. I'm not going to know the difference. I'm waiting for like an anti-GMO person to be like, "Haha, I tricked you. That one's from Cali. And that one's from Maine. I fooled you." It's gonna be like, no, neither of them tasted different from the other. If anything, I'd be like, oh, well, this one kind of is like, underripe, and this one's a little overripe. Yeah. And that's just the water. That's just the water in the areas. Like, fucking, oh my god, it's just fucking stupidity. Exactly, you'd barely be able to detect it. Like we get here, I think Maine grown potatoes and Idaho potatoes, and then there's potatoes from like other spots in the country. I buy whatever fucking potato I want, and I don't buy it because, oh hey, this is a really tasty potato. this is an organic potato from Idaho, don't you know? Like, no, I fucking buy fucking regular fucking potatoes because they're potatoes. I'll buy red potatoes. Not a lot, not often. And that's because red potatoes are more expensive than fucking, you know, normal run-of-the-mill potatoes. I can buy a fucking 20-pound bag of potatoes for like $5. I'm gonna buy that over a fucking like 5-pound bag of fucking red potatoes that are going for like 7, or however much fucking red potatoes are nowadays. I don't even know. You got white potatoes, fucking just regular Idaho potatoes, as everyone fucking calls them around here. Yukon Gold. Like they all practically taste the same. The only thing I would say is red potatoes are have a heartier taste to them. That's it. They're better. They're better as a baked potato than a mashed. Christ, like when you go to a fucking restaurant and you order a steak, they usually give you, well, around here, mind you, but like around here, like whenever I order a baked potato, I don't get an Idaho potato. I get fucking baked red potatoes. Yeah, then the blue potatoes. I've never actually eaten a blue potato before. Probably because it's blue. It's this weird potato, and I'm probably like, yeah, I don't know. That don't look good to me. That don't look appetizing. Just like I don't eat kiwis because kiwis have this weird fucking texture to them. Plus they're hairy. Fucking my repertoire of fruit and vegetables is fairly mundane and isolated. I don't like squash. I don't like tomatoes. Like I don't slice up fucking tomato. I don't eat BLTs. Like I'll eat a salad once in a while, but not with tomatoes. I only like tomatoes in like sauce, like tomato sauce or paste, or a marinara is a sauce, but like that's about it. I don't yeah, that's about it. Like I like red and green peppers. I like orange peppers. Not a big fan of jalapenos and all like the hot kinds of fucking peppers. I don't mind them. Like I'll eat hot wings and shit like that, or fucking spicy foods. Don't mind it, but you're not gonna see me eat one raw. Like I'm not gonna eat a fucking ghost pepper. Like potatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, snow peas, water chestnuts, corn, fucking carrots. I'll eat turnips. I'll eat pumpkin pie, but I won't eat pumpkin like anything else pumpkin. Blueberries. Love blueberries, especially in pies and fucking muffins and shit. I'll eat them raw too. Pancakes, that's another good thing I like blueberries on. I hate strawberries. I hate cherries. I hate blackberries, raspberries, any kind of raspberry I fucking despise. Bananas, I love bananas. Like a lot of the food, like a lot of the fruits I eat are something that you could make into something. Like I could make pumpkin bread or pumpkin muffins or pumpkin pancakes or blueberry muffins and pancakes, fucking shit like that. Like that kind of stuff I'll eat. And some of them I'll eat raw, like blueberries and bananas. I only like apples in fucking pastries and shit. I don't eat pears. I like lemons and like lemonade and fucking tarts and shit like that. Limes, don't eat limes. Fucking, I used to like oranges until I fucking grew out of liking them. Now I only like them in certain things. So yeah, like I'm a bigger veggie eater than I am a fruit eater. Same with meats. Like I like pork chops and I like steaks, but I'm not that like I'll eat a steak once in a great fucking while. I have to be in a mood for a steak. Same with pork chops. Like the last time I had a pork chop was fucking, oh fuck, probably a year and a half ago. I had pork chops last time. Like the only pork product I'll eat now, like I eat on a regular basis, is sausages and fucking bacon. And that's because I'm like, that's one of the only meals I'll eat is breakfast before I go to work. I'll stop at a fucking one of the two breakfast diners I go to, and I'll order up corned beef hash, fucking 5 egg scrambled, corned beef hash, a full rasher of bacon, a full thing of sausage links, and extra home fries. No toast. Fucking, I hate toast. It's very rare where I'm gonna actually want to eat a slice of toast or a full fucking all 4 slices of toast, because they give you 2 slices of toast and fucking cut that in half. It just, I barely have the fucking appetite to have toast. You're gonna have to have me on a very day, like on a day where I'm extremely fucking hungry. Like, and that's about it. Like, I come home, I'm not eating fruit. I'm usually making something like Salisbury steak or a fucking baked chicken dinner or a fucking chicken pot pie, which has bunch of fucking vegetables in it. Potatoes, celery, corn, peas, carrots, green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, fuck ton of chicken, especially a lot of potatoes. Uh, Shepherd's pie is ground beef with fucking my version is ground beef with corn and fucking thick ass layer of mashed potatoes. Like, but all these people are gonna fucking sit there and tell me I'm using GMO products. And there's been times where I've pissed off my friends that are fucking anti-GMO, where I've been like, oh, don't worry, I stopped at the grocery store, I grabbed organic food like you told me to, and this is all 100% organic shepherd's pie or an organic chicken pot pie or an organic chicken dinner. And once they've done eating it and told me how delicious it was, I'm like, yep, good old GMOs. What? Yeah, you just ate a GMO meal. Did it taste bad? No? All right then. I'm glad you enjoyed the GMOs. And then they'll get pissed off and fucking hate that they ate GMOs and I'm a fucking traitor or a liar or a horrible friend because I'm poisoning their bodies. And it's like, fuck you, guy. You fucking sitting there fucking touting how amazing my cook, like, you're just touting how amazing of a fucking meal you just sat down to eat. And now you're all fucking all pissed off because now I've taken the wool off you, like, out of your eyes. Like, that's another thing about conspiracy theorists. They hate when they hate when you remove that fantasy. They hate when they're proven wrong utterly and shown how hypocritical they are. And that's not just conspiracy theorists, that's just liars. That's another thing that I've seen that fucking conspiracy theorists have in common. It's just like lying people who lie. When you catch them in a fucking hypocritical act, or you can't catch them in the act, happens. But they're not going to fucking admit that they lied. They won't do that. No. They're just gonna say that you're trying to trap them. Entrapment. Trying to make me say or do something I don't believe in. And it's like, all right, fuck you too, buddy. If you don't want to believe me, you don't want to believe me. That's it. I can't prove you wrong. Oh boy. You got me. Yep, it's people in general. But I'm gonna leave it here. It's 11:06. I gotta go fucking. I'm gonna go for a walk, smoke a cigarette, and fucking clear my head up before I go to sleep. I got work tomorrow. That's gonna be lovely. But it's payday, so I'm gonna have a lovely fucking meager check to my name. So thank you, Frank and Sten, for showing up. Thank you guys for staying, putting up with my fucking rambling ass. Thank you for everybody who actually sits through the whole damn thing and listens. Uh, you guys have a wonderful night, and have a wonder. I'll see you guys Saturday. And in between now and Saturday, I hope you guys have a fabulous Thursday and Friday. Not sure if I'll be able to do an Arc Lab playthrough Saturday, but we'll see. We'll see how work goes. So, yeah. Talk to you guys later.